Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you've all had a great off season and are looking forward to NRL Fantasy to come back. Today we're going to be starting off with looking at the 5 best hookers for our season. And we're going to be using this new site I found, footystatistics.com. So great work to the guys that are using this, that have created this. I'm really enjoying it since I've been looking into the players. And we're going to start with a few of them here. So Mckinnis, obviously our most expensive player in the game with Nathan Cleary, but we'll talk about Cam first. Biggest one for him this year, he's got the hooker and the mid position. For those that don't know, there's been a little bit of a change in the system. There's now mids, so middle forwards, including obviously the front rowers and the locks, and then an edge position. So there's an extra mid position compared to the second row forwards, like it was last year, being 3. So there's 3 mids this year, two edge players, and Mckinnis fits in both of them. So with him being your top scorer with Cleary last year, makes him a really interesting choice, especially as a captaincy option as well. So you've got him and Cleary, which are about 10 points better than any other player in the game. Obviously with Payne Haas as well, but all being around that 72 points a game. Yeah, so it makes it a really interesting choice there. When we look at his stats, it's all laid out here for us. Obviously, the fantasy scores down here on the left-hand side. And you just look at him, obviously, having a crazy start to the year, but then had a little bit of mix between the two positions, so hooker and lock. What it sounds like this year is he's going to be much more chance of playing hooker, which is going to be great for his stocks and keeping him scoring at that highest price. You can see when he played lock, yes, he did score okay, but he wasn't averaging that 72 points a game. Yeah, on average there, he's fairly similar across both, but he is a much better player when he is playing hooker for the majority of the season. You can see a lot of his best scores at the start of the year when he was hooker, and he moved to lock, and it did drop straight away. But it looks like this year that Hunt and Mckinnis are going to be holding their position. We'll speak a little bit about Hunt a little bit later, but Mckinnis, someone that's averaging over 50 tackles a game, and for his career, we can go all the way back to 2014, he's averaging 43, and that's including 10 minutes less a game. So averages 50 tackles a season. He's really close to their best player, and there's no reason to see him dropping in his scoring potential. Obviously, he's almost $1 million, and that's steep. But when you do need a captain to start the year, and you want to be trying to push ahead, those extra 10 points that you're going to get from him as captain is going to be really beneficial. So he's someone to really think about there. So Cam Mckinnis, we're going to go to Damian Cook there. So really easy up here, guys, just straight in. Cook, he's going to come straight up on our screen there. Alrighty. So here we are. Cookie, obviously a little bit more, I'd say a little bit more inconsistent than what Mckinnis is. He can score you the 100, but then he can get a bunch of scores in the 40. So he's someone that you can look to and go, okay, his price is going to fluctuate a little bit more than Mckinnis would, for example. Look, there's every chance that if Mckinnis scores a couple of 50s at the start of the season, you can get him a bit cheaper. But to bank on that really high average to start, and he's someone that you can set and forget, for example. Will he play Origin? Mckinnis. You've got Damian Cook in front of you. Is Damian Cook going to lose his spot? Most likely not, unless there's an injury. But so that's another thing to think about with Mckinnis. Cook this year, with Origin being back in the middle of the year, he's someone that you're going to think about. Okay, I'm going to have to cover for him. He scores about 9 points less than what Mckinnis does. So we'll jump in here. A lot more consistent than he used to be. You see before, in the old days, there's a lot more attacking stats. You see he's got the try assists, and the line breaks bring the bulk of his points. But these days, averaging over 40 tackles a game. He's gonna do a job for you. But I just feel like at the moment, with Origin being there, and he's not the top gun in Mckinnis, I just feel like I'd rather go Mckinnis over Cook at this stage. But again, that's for other people to think. Someone at a similar price point, 30k less, is Harry Grant. We all saw how he played at the end of last season in the Origin game. Obviously had a great game, and shows that it's not just going to be a fluke year. Like the bloke's extremely talented. He's going to go back into the Storm system. Obviously won't have to, you say he won't have to do as much as he would at the Tigers. We pretty much went there and he was the best player already in just his, pretty much his first season. Like played 2 games previous. So pretty much his first season averaged just a stupid amount, right? Even in 60-minute games, 50-minute games, he still scored really well. He'd happened to get a try, a line break, or a bunch of try assists in those games to bump it up, to go along with his ridiculous amount of tackles. Really fun to watch. So I know a lot of people are going to think of him as going, okay, really cool to watch. He's a little bit cheaper than Cook, for example. He's going to be great to start with. And yeah, I can't see him averaging anything less than sort of 58, in a Storm system where he's going to be doing, should be getting a few more points from attacking stats. I feel like he's going to be a good scorer. Are you going to have any more value out of that 823? I doubt it. 61 is a really good average, and he's priced accordingly. So I see him averaging somewhere around there. But again, great captaincy option as well in a team with the Storm, where I said he's going to get a little bit more. He should get a little bit more attacking stats. Only thing with his tackle count is that might drop a little bit. You see sometimes when Smithy like in years past, when they're attacking and going crazy, he'll make a few less tackles, but then there's a chance for the offensive stats. Smith would get a little bit more kicking in play, for example. Grant's a little bit more with the grubbers and then short kicks, so something to think about there, that he might not get when they're attacking well, if he doesn't get those tries and try assists around the ruck there, he may score a little bit less. Again, just my opinion. You can make up your own on that one, but really fun player to watch, and I love seeing him play out there. Happy Coruscant, our 4th highest scoring hooker for last year. It's average 60, the 2020 average there. And then you can see he's someone that's also a little bit more inconsistent. Can score really well. Will make the 50-odd tackles, even in a team that was doing really well throughout the last season. Again, for me, yes, he should score well again, but he's someone that has been up and down in terms of his scoring over his career. Last season was clearly his best. So can he do that again? I have much more doubts on if he can score 60 again compared to what I think Grant will be able to do, Cook or Mckinnis. So I do see him as definitely the 4th option out of the guys we've been speaking about so far. Again, if you think the Panthers are going to do really well again, which they should, he should score up there, but there's a little bit of doubt in my mind. He's not undervalued, and nothing much changes in his situation and his team at this current place. So that's my thoughts on Coro. And our last one for this video is going to be Benny Hunt. As I said, guys, we're going to go through each of the positions, go through a lot of players in a lot of detail in this preseason. So I hope you get a lot out of that. And if you do, guys, just please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And let me know what you guys think of the new format. We'll be doing a bunch more of these videos and using this website a lot. So let me know what you think. Benny Hunt, as I said before, Mckinnis is going to most likely be staying at hooker. Ben Hunt did score better at hooker. Okay, so him averaging 55 for the season. You can see here, obviously he had a few games in the interchange at the start, and a few decent games at half, but he does have the few there with a 36 at half, and has lesser game time when he was playing hooker, for example. There's just a few more gaps in I guess knowing exactly what he's going to be doing. When he's played in the past at half, he would average about 50. Okay, so 50 to 55 there. Again, you wouldn't be saying he's undervalued at all. There is a benefit that he has hooker and half combination. And if there is a an injury to Mckinnis, for example, you could see Hunt filling that spot at hooker, for example, and then bringing one of the younger guys in to play half. But at this stage, I wouldn't be thinking he's worth playing in that position. At 7, he's obviously going to kick a lot more and make his 20 to 30 tackles. But again, I think you're paying the premium to bring him in when I think there's better options, especially in the hooking ranks at the moment. For this year, it looks like there's going to be a few guys that are a fair bit cheaper that we could probably get in. So some teams might not even have a gun hooker. But if you are, I'd suggest one of the top 3 players there in Mckinnis, Cook, or Grant, just for someone that you could lock in for the whole year. Use them as a captaincy option. Because if Hunt doesn't go well for a few weeks, he's at awkward price. What are you going to do with him? Is he someone that you want for the rest of the year? Are you going to have him as a gun at the end of the year? Not sure. So something to think about with those top 5 hookers, guys. We're going to go through a bunch of the other hookers in the next few videos. But hope you like that, guys. As I said, please hit like, hit subscribe if you're enjoying it, and I hope you have a great year. As I said, get in those comments, guys. Let's ask some questions as well. Hopefully I can answer them for you. But other than that, have a good day, and we'll catch you in the next one.